What nonsense is this? A giant crab monster, a spider's web of infinite intrigue, an autistic kid's nightmare, a honeycomb without any honey or sweetness. This is Hexcells, a puzzle game on Steam. A number-based puzzle game. Very, very mathy. So for all you math heads out there, this is a Rorschach test of infinite beauty and wisdom. And it's also very confusing. Just look at all these numbers here. What do they all mean? It doesn't make much sense to you, nor should it, because this is level 29. Quite late in the game. Actually the second to last level. I have already beaten all the other ones. The Hexcells is a series of games, this being the very first, in which the objective is to clear the stage. The difficulty ramps up and the complexity ramps up slowly but surely from the very first level on. To learn the basics, all you need to do is read the text or follow my soothing voice. The number tells you how many blue dots there are around the is that a hexagon? I suppose so. And so it shouldn't take an autistic math head to figure out this puzzle here. All you need is your left button on the mouse and the right button. It's very straightforward actually. If you've played Minesweepers, you know what to expect. But this game is much more than Minesweepers. Minesweepers is a rather boring game. I'm sorry, I mean, there are some fans of that game, and that game was okay on Windows 3.1 in 2014. We need something more, right? So this is not just Minesweepers. It might give a false impression if you think this is just Minesweepers for the steampunk generation. No! No! Yes! This is much more than that. It's in hexagon form! It's Hexagon Sweeper! No, let me tell you. The layout of the grid gives it great possibilities for expansion, and the puzzles in this game are some of the best I've seen. There's very little repetition by the way of style or composition. They ramp up nicely, the difficulty ramps up and the complexity ramps up. All you need is some logic and you're good to go. Let's solve this one and then I'll show you some of the later levels where the complexity truly picks up. Now we're still in the kind of Minesweeper territory. So let's see. This grid here has 2 around it, so, and same here. That's pretty straightforward. This one too only has 3 free and 2 free grids and 2 there should be. Now we can also make clear this here, since there are only 2 adjacent to that, so that means there cannot be 1 here, and there must be 1 here. That's very straightforward. Let's take a look at this. These all have only 2 adjacent grids, or nodes, I suppose. So to use a bit of logic, we should be able to realize that all these are already predestined to be marked blue. And this one here is very straightforward as well. And there we go, we beat the second level. It only ramps up, and you have to figure out the it's sort of like learning to ride a bike, you know. You cannot really explain it logically, although in a logical game it's slightly more easier than the practical arts of biking. Nonetheless, we can skip a few levels and see that it's, well, apparently we're still in the beginning stage. And yes, actually it takes all the way to the third level to discover a new dimension to this game. Here we see that we are given more information. This is basically Picross. So the truth about this game is that it's not just Minesweepers, it's Minesweepers meets Picross, and that, my friends, is pure bliss. Picross is one of the greatest puzzle games of all time. These numbers here indicate how many there are in one vertical column. Alright? There are 3 on this column and there are only 3 nodes. We can mark them all blue. There are only 2 here. We can mark them blue. And we know there must be one there. That's good. There are no blue ones here. We can mark them out. There are no around there, we can mark those. No around there, we can mark those. Now if you see here, this is also straightforward. 2 here, 1 here, and since there are 3 here, we can figure out this is blue. We can also figure the same out by seeing that there's 1 remaining, and thus, lo and behold, I call blueness into the world. The beauty of this game is how the simple elements all add up, and every new twist brings a little bit more into the mix. Here we see that the information grants us the knowledge that these amount of nodes in each column are actually consecutive. So they have to be next to each other. If you've played any Picross, this is piece of cake for you. You should know that this is what you should do. Alright? So now we cannot tell from the vertical information which one it is, but we can tell from here that there can only be 3 around there, so these cannot be, and thus we are granted full knowledge, gnosis, pure enlightenment in hexagon form. 4 here, there's only 2 ways you could go. You could start from here, or you could start from here. So we know that these 3 are at least, for us, blue, eternally blue. From this information we know these 2 will not, and from the one here we know this definitely is. And there we go, from the 1 here we know this cannot be, and from the 4 here we know this must be. And from the 2 here we know there must be 1 there. Let's solve this 2, and that's done. 3 consecutive here. For some reason these gaps here do not count, so they are purely visual non-cues. You should not take them into account at all. But we know there's 1 here, and we know they are consecutive, so just add 2 more, and that's that. Very simple, very effective, but the complexity ramps up and the size of the levels increases, and we are entering deeper into the cells of the Hexmeister. Now, I'm not gonna go on because you got the point. One of the greatest things about this, like I've told you already, is the progression and the ramping up of the difficulty. Um, for a game with only 6 worlds, and I've already almost beaten the game. This doesn't seem like much, but it should grant you about 2 hours of work or fun, and never mind that, because I'm gonna show you something amazing. This might be familiar to you, but what is this? What is this? Huh? Wait, what's happening here? Wait. Why? Why? What's going on? What is this nonsense? What is this nonsense? There is a plus version of this game. There is a plus version of this game. Oh my god. And it's more levels. It's 36 more levels. For some reason in the previous game they didn't have, all the worlds didn't have 6 levels, but now they all do, so there are actually a few more levels in this game. This is not actually a plus version of the game, this is more of a sequel. But I guess they wanted to call it plus because it doesn't add that many new mechanics. Nonetheless, once you've beaten Hexcells, there's a smooth transition to Hexcells Plus. But from the very get-go, Hexcells Plus means business. This is a difficult follow-up. It's a natural but exceedingly complicated follow-up. Now, let's take a look at this. Now, so if you remember from earlier, these numbers here indicate not only the amount of nodes or cells around each node, but also the fact that they must be consecutive. Very simple. Now the beauty of this game is that this is very, very simple, but this is completely deceptive. All you need to do is try this level out and you realize, no, wait a minute, this is some serious shit. I mean, this is of course very early on in the plus game, but nonetheless, already we are facing a few difficulties. Let's see. So we know this is pretty easily, no problem. Let's see here, we know this, no problem. That's all fine. We know all this, and that's fine. If you don't follow, never mind. I'm just gonna try and see how fast I can beat this after already beating it once. Yes. This actually gives you some idea of what it feels like to be playing this game on the fucking world class level. Wow, did I just call myself world class? That's not right at all. I lied. That wasn't actually all that difficult at all. You should have beaten the first game by now, or at least gotten to the very end, like I am. I'm at the second to last level in the first game. This basically assumes that you have mastered the skills, the basic mechanics, the techniques, the twists of your thinking, the mind tricks required to clear levels in this game. You should have done that, because otherwise you should not go through here unless you are an autistic savant, and this is the only way you get your any meaning in your life. Then sure, skip the first one, go straight into the tough shit. The first couple of levels aren't that bad, but actually already the 1.16 was quite difficult. I'm not gonna go through it again. You see the elements are basically the same, but these are sort of like the Master Quest version of the original game. That's a strange analogy, but you might remember Ocarina of Time. It's sort of like all the elements are rearranged, you know, it's like you thought you knew how to play Hexcells, but you really didn't. I haven't beaten these levels yet, so actually let's just, for the sake of argument, go to 2.26 and see. Wow, yes. Am I drunk, or are those numbers drunk? Now what these numbers actually are is they indicate what do you call this? Rows, I mean diagonal rows of sort of like the columns that we still have here, but diagonally. So let's try and beat this, because I figure that I might show you how these are quite challenging indeed. Let's start from the obvious. 0 here, no problem. 2 here, yes. Don't know any of that yet. 3 here, let's see. 1 there, and we don't know. There can be 2 here. We don't know which ones. That's fine. We know that there has to be. Yeah, now we have to think. That's what you do in a quick puzzle game. Nothing is too obvious. I think that we might be able to solve these though. Yes. Now this means this is the opposite of the consecutive sign. This means that this cell has 2 adjacent cells, has 2 cells, 2 blue cells adjacent to it that are not consecutive, that are not touching each other. Hence, they cannot be these 2. Why? Because then they would be touching each other. Hence, we know that since there are only 3 options, only one of these is blue, and this has to be blue. So that's how you reason, that's how you use logic, alright? So, did that help us? Not much. We're still in the same position here. But let's see. Let's certainly see what we can muster from here. So one of these, yes. That means that since there's only 1 in each column, since there has to be 1 there, and there has to be 1 there, there can be nothing below them, right? Because there only can be 1 in each column. So all these are going to be marked as non-blue. Alright. That is a step forward. Fantastic. So now we have many things we could do. Let's start with this. Okay, 2 non-adjacent blue ones. So there's only 1 there, so there cannot be 1 there, because that would make it adjacent or consecutive. So nope, you may not. Now this one has 3 around it, so these 2, that's fine. This one has only 1, so that cannot be. This one has 2, so that is. So let's see. 3, no. Yeah. Okay, so 5 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So all these. Then we can actually mark that as solved. You see, that actually makes it easier to count what you're doing. I'm getting a massive Picross boner here, because Picross is one of my absolute favorite puzzle games, and I used to do that a lot. You know, mark these columns. The fusion of Minesweepers and Picross is truly something amazing. Now we've cleared a bit of this right-hand side here. We still don't know much about. Okay, well, we know one thing. This one has 3 and they are non-consecutive, so it cannot be this one because that would make it consecutive. So we can mark that as no-go. Right. That is a no-go, so it has to be one of these. We don't know much more than that. These do not reach beyond these gaps, alright? For some reason, although these column signs reach across gaps, the cell signs do not. So this one does not reach over to that one, for example. Alright. Okay, well, that's actually very easy. We can mark those. That should be obvious. But the other one's not so much. Let's see. 1 there. Okay. Let's see. 5, no. 4, no. 2, we don't know. Oh, which we do know because there's only 1, you see, so there cannot be 2 here, there has to be 1 there. And we have solved this row as well, we mark that as solved, and you go there. That's beautiful, very beautiful. Yes, so that's done. Do we have the same situation here? No, we do not. Tough shit. This only looks simple, but is not simple. Hexcells Plus really should be called Hexcells Nonplussed, because that's what I feel. Can I call my friends? Get the audience reaction, 50%. Wow, my god, I've been making huge progress here. That only took me about, I don't know, 20 minutes. Yeah, fantastic. Once you see the grid envelop your soul, you feel like you want to give your life to the great blue bee. Yes, the honeycomb calls you. Can you hear its call? I want to lick this blue grid clean. Only a few more to go. We're sure to do it in no time. No time. No time. No time. Let's see the progress at work, because now I'm sure we can do it. Yes, here. 2 on this diagonal here. They are already there. What are we waiting for? Let's mark these as none. Blue. 2 to go. We can mark that off. Great. 1's gotta be there. That's done. That's done. That's done. Let's see this diagonal here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, that's done. That's done. 1's gotta be here. 1's gotta be there. 2, 1, 2. Alright. No problem. That's done. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're done! No mistakes. Beautiful. Ah! The feeling of elation, of spiritual enlightenment after you complete a puzzle is indescribable. This game is pure food for the soul, pure honey. Ah, from the mother bee's mother breast. Oh, 6 times 6. Oh, 6 times 6, so many to go. The fact that I skipped 5 levels means we cannot go on, and that is fine. I just wanted to show you the experience, the beautiful experience of trying to solve a puzzle in Hexcells Plus. You gotta feel it for yourself. You gotta find your way. You gotta push your fist up that mother bee's butt to really get a grip on this hexi grid. And in fact, there's also another game called Hexcells Infinity, I believe, which I have no idea what that is, beyond the fact that it's got, as the name implies, infinite puzzles. They created a fucking level generator. Good for them, good for them, good for them. That's enough of this now. Hexcells and its sequel or sequels are a fantastic time to spend a few dollars, euros, yens, kronas, whatever bitcoins you have. So yes, Mother Bee calls, surrender to its honey scent. Thank you.